Hey everybody, welcome back to ThreatX Productions. Thank you so much for joining me. I am Nick, and today we're going to be doing a double feature review. I'll put right here the time codes to let you know which movie you would rather prefer hear about. But there you go. There's our double feature. We're going to be doing two movies. One is Greenland, and the other one is Bliss. So we're going to start with Greenland. Greenland is starring Gerard Butler, Marina Baccarin, and Roger Dale Floyd, which is their kid. And basically this is kind of a end of the world type of situation. We got, an asteroid coming to the planet, and it's going to hit, or actually it's a comet. Most people think comets are meteors, but not all meteors are comet. Anyways, but it's coming to the end of the world, and so it's a struggle to survive. This very well could have just been your run-of-the-mill, oh, here we go, another Roland Emmerich kind of disaster movie or whatever. But I actually feel like what they did correctly, in my opinion, is they 100% focused on the family and focused on the characters. We got to know the characters way more than we got to know like the world and the asteroid and everything like that. It was way more about the characters. It was a character-driven thing. Basically, like, we would know information as the characters knew the information. A really good example is like Armageddon, for instance. You would have these moments where, yes, you would be on Bruce Willis and his daughter, forgetting her name, and they would be having emotions and stuff like that. But then it would cut to the scientists, and we'd see their point of view and be like, oh no, there's an asteroid about to hit here. Whereas with this family, we're essentially following this family throughout the entire thing. So we're getting information about the asteroids as they're getting information. So sometimes like an asteroid hits, or an asteroid's right about to hit, like a little fragment is about to hit, and they just find out because they happen to be listening to the radio, and then all of a sudden it starts happening, and this causes some tension, and it makes it really unexpected in a lot of ways, and I really like that. This movie went in really different directions than I think a normal apocalyptic, or disaster movie went, and I think it does have to do with the characters and their journey to Greenland, which I feel like for the most part, like, Greenland didn't come up until probably about halfway through the movie. So it's like, why is this called Greenland? But anyways, so let's get on with Gerard Butler and Marina Baccarin. Their performances were extremely believable. At the beginning of this movie, I will have to admit that I thought this was going to be cliche as hell, because I literally turned to my wife and I was like, okay, let's take a shot every time there's a cliche. There's an estranged marriage shot. There is a kid with a disability shot. Will they, won't they, like, are they getting a divorce? I don't know. Shot. Exposition by TV in the background shot. So a lot of it was very much like, okay, yeah, here we go, but then it does something. I don't know if this is spoilers, so if you really want to see the movie on your own, proceed at your own risk. But then what really kind of turns this entire movie on its head is when basically his family gets chosen as people to go to a bunker, basically. For the most part, we don't get a lot of information about why he was chosen, other than they chose a lot of people at random, and they also chose people based on their professions. So we find out he's a structural engineer. He starts on a skyscraper, so we already kind of knew he was in construction or whatever, but I guess based on that, he had a higher chance of getting picked. So he gets picked, and there's this really awkward situation because they were about to have like a family barbecue, and he basically gets chosen, and a message comes on their TV saying that, his name, I can't remember his name, something Blake or whatever, and then his wife's names, and then his kid's name. Nobody else is allowed, no exceptions. And it's like in front of all these people are freaking out. So of course they go and get packed, and then they're on their way, and people are basically like, this one lady stops them and is like, please just take my kid, take my kid. And it's like, I'm sorry, we can't. So it's just, that really gives you the tone for the entire movie, and just, it's giving you these emotional moments that I've never really seen in other movies. Deep Impact, I think, is probably the closest we've ever gotten to something like this, because it's very, there's a couple instances where, there was a lottery and something like that. And I think even in 2021, maybe there was some kind of like an ARC system or whatever. So most of that movie was just, but that one was so ridiculously over the top that it was just dumb. And sure, you could call it like dumb popcorn fun or whatever, but it's just like, it was just one cliche after another, and just like, whereas this one, because it decided to focus on the characters, and because they chose Gerard Butler and Marina, because they chose these two as their main characters, and that's who we get the story through. It's very interesting. Once again, I don't want to go into spoilers, but it's like, there's so much about this movie that I just did not see coming, because I thought it was just going to be, here we go, into the world, go figure stuff out, or, go find a place to shelter. Where it goes is so interesting. Without giving too much away, I guess I can at least say that they get split up. And what happens when they get split up was just like so, gut-wrenching and so visceral. I really like how they ended up doing it, and how they handled it, both emotionally and for the characters themselves. And overall, I would give this a we do ratings a little different here. So I would say there would be the premiere price, there would be the day one, there would be the matinee, the rent it, red box it, which is actually what I did technically, or stream it, so basically, how much money are you willing to put into it? I ended up streaming it for $2, but honestly, this would have been a movie that would have been great to see in the theaters. So I'm gonna give this a premiere night, price. I think that it's definitely worth it. I'm not displeased with it whatsoever. I know that if I would have gone to the movies to this, I wouldn't have been displeased at all. And so that's kind of how I try to rank stuff. And in the future I might change it. I don't know. I like the way I do it, because it's like, I'm a regular guy trying to say, how much money should you put into it? And honestly, if you Redbox it, you're not going to be disappointed. If you wait for it to come in the stream, it's not going to be disappointed. But if I would have signed it on day one, I know I would have been happy with it. So spending $20 just to go see it, I would have been happy with that, because this is definitely not just a regular apocalypse movie, and I really like that about that. And I want to see more movies like this, where it's more about the characters than the apocalypse itself. Like, the apocalypse is the backdrop, and we really just focus in on the characters. So that's what I think. Have you seen it? Do you like it? Do you hate it? Let me know down in the comments down below. So that was Greenland. There we go. So let's move on to Bliss. Now, Bliss you can actually get on Amazon Prime, because it is an Amazon original. So if you already have Amazon Prime, you can technically get this for free, I guess. So Bliss follows Owen Wilson's character, and he's kind of in a weird place in his life, and he's basically obsessed with this place in his mind. It's this house or something, and he's really obsessed with it. And he draws it, so it's almost like it's really real to him and everything. He ends up meeting Salma Hayek's character, and she's basically telling him, hey, this is not a real world, there's a real world out there, this is a simulation or whatever. And she's even able to show him, like, she can do like kind of matrix powers where she makes things telekinetically happen because this is a simulation, so boom, I can make this happen or whatever. And so then we go down this really weird path. And, I don't want to give too much away, obviously, but basically, the rest of the movie, you're like, is this real? Is this fake? What is real? What is reality? What does it mean to be kind of alive? What does our experiences mean to us? And things like that. I'll be honest, I just didn't love this. There's plenty of movies that go straight to Netflix or go straight to Amazon for that matter that are really well done, really well put together. And I would say that this feels like a straight to DVD movie. This doesn't feel like even like an indie movie that went to the theaters. This feels like something they kind of just threw together, and the story is kind of convoluted. And at the end of the day, this is sort of spoilers, so if you don't want to listen, skip forward a little bit or something. But this is sort of spoilers, but really at the end of the day, it's just an allegory for addiction, and that's it. So all the questions of what's real, what's not real is kind of, irrelevant, because it's just about addiction and about it being addicted to drugs or whatever. So that's cool, and it's an interesting notion, especially by the end of the movie. But it's also just like, I feel like it's been done better in other movies way more, even just like Requiem for a Dream. That one's a little bit more overtly, hey, this is about addiction. And so it takes you through this character driven, calamity that's going on with these people's lives or whatever. And we kind of have a similar situation here, but then like halfway through the movie, it goes a completely different direction. And, that's when we really start questioning reality versus simulation. And I just feel like maybe they should have gotten to that part quicker, because in the commercials, so I'm not really spoiling anything that wouldn't be already in a commercial, but in the commercials they show him go to the quote unquote real world a lot faster. And so I feel like that's what the movie is being sold off of him going to the real world and then finding out that the world he's in is supposedly fake or whatever. But the part where he goes to the real world is so far into the movie. We're talking halfway. So it's so far into the movie that it really just makes it way more disjointed than it needs to be. And then him being in the real world, and then what happens in the real world, quote unquote real world, is just, I don't know. I feel like they could have told a better story if she would have just been a lot more vague about everything. If the question of is this real or not wouldn't have been so wishy-washy, because even by the end you don't get a straight answer, but he also kind of too. So it's so weird, and I just think in so many ways they tried to hit a mark, they tried to hit a bullseye, but they just kind of missed the whole board, because I just don't feel like it landed the way it needed to be landed. So Owen Olsen twins, the Owen Wilson, there we go, got it, nailed it, first take, and Salma Hayek do a great job. I think other than Behind Enemy Lines, I haven't really seen Owen Wilson do like a serious role. And I would say about anywhere from like 85 to 90% of the time, I believed him. But then the rest of the time it was just like, oh no, oh yeah, oh, I don't know, because and it was just kind of like, it just didn't feel natural. Salma Hayek, I don't know, there was just so many instances of her like getting upset for such a stupid reason that it's just like, I mean, I think it was meant, her having questions and things, it was meant for you to be suspicious or to start asking questions, but it really just came off annoying. So I didn't really like it that much. At the end of the day, it was okay film, so as far as our ranking system, I would leave it at a stream it. The fact that I was able to stream this, I'm perfectly happy with that. If I would have seen this in a theater, even at a cheap theater, like $1 a day on a Tuesday or something like that, I still would have been like, I don't know. But streaming, hey, it's almost free, it's sort of free, so why the hell not? But yeah, this is definitely something I'm not going to watch again. I'm not going to think about again as soon as I get done recording this. So, hey, did you see Bliss? Did you like it? Did you see Greenland? Did you like that one? This is the first time I've tried like kind of a double feature thing where I talk about 2 movies instead of 1. Please let me know down in the comments. Is this good? Do you like hearing about multiple movies at once? Or would you like me to stick to one at a time? I mean, I'm really just kind of experimenting at this point. So if you could let me know down in the comments below if you like this or not, let me know. Other than that, I was Nick for ThreadX Reproductions, and you have yourself a good day.